Let's see how many subscribers I will lose on this stream. I'm on a record amount of losses here the last month. Every time I do this, I lose more than I gain. Every time now for the last month. And it's since the end of May, and I have a theory. Well, I have a couple of opinions. Why? It's because some new people found me, and they were expecting me to hop, jump, and run for them like I've done on other streams or something like that. Or there's people who are sick of me because they just don't like, this. When I'm doing weird shit like that. So anyway, it's a test stream for me again today. My late night Friday night streams, when I do this out of the blue, is to test things. And I have thoughts. So, I see you, Mila and Lauren and Erica and Esmeralda. What is up? What's up? Oh, yeah. How is everyone doing? KP1231. K Michelle, what's up? Late night tests for me. Late night tests. I'm going to try something here. Let's see if this is going to work. Get straight to it. I could do it like this. That's good. It worked. Hi, Stephanie King. Hi. Hi. Hello. What's up, everybody? We're in a interesting space here. Another interesting Mars space because of what's been happening with Mars and Uranus. But, right now as we speak, Mars is in the last degrees of Taurus and is actually making a really great connection with Neptune right now. Considering the week, a couple weeks with this and all the drama, I bet you some of us out there didn't have any drama. And if you were smart, you didn't bite on a drama. You've been too busy in your own creative world to even give a damn about who says what, who didn't do this, did you hear what they said, did you see what they said, did you blah, 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 the he said, she said stuff. Hopefully some of you were just in your own world. And for those in the northern hemisphere, that you've just been doing summer. There's more to life than what is being shoved in your face all the time, information-wise. It's always there. It's always there. It just have to go there or become habitual and just, don't put down the phone, read the book. Who cares? I mean, seriously. In the end, it's like you're just sitting there alone in your world, and you gotta just do the basics. The anxiety, the hyperness, the panic, the need to prove, the need to sell, the need to hype something up, the look at me, look what I did. Did you see what I said? I said this. I said that 2 weeks ago. You know that? I said that before anybody else did, and blah, 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 blah. It's like this just goes. And, for me, I have an instant rebellion towards something like that when it's on a mass level. it used to be where I used to jump in all the way. People who know me from the past, they know me. They know. But I also like to back it up with action because I come from an action-oriented place in the end, not just a Mercury and Gemini spouting off shit. I'm action-oriented person in the physical world. So I have a history of backing things up. So, for me, it's like look to your gifts in place and where it flows, regardless of the drama and the stuff. Now, obviously, I always like to do my disclaimers on this channel where someone can't avoid it, right? Well, you got to find your 5 minutes. You got to find your 5 minutes, You got to find your 5 minutes somewhere to chill before you jump back into the fray. You're going to notice a couple little slight tweaks here as I'm testing stuff. You might have already noticed one in the chat. If you haven't noticed it already, you're going to. And certain people, the way they do things, they're going to notice it real quick. It's very subtle. Very subtle. So let's do that. I have to test a couple things, right? So I got to get used to this. You don't know what the hell I'm doing, but, there. Whoa, see? How did I do that? So... And then I go back. Yeah, there. Oh, I see. I did it. And let me do this one more time. I got to do this. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, that was my little test. I got to get used to this. There's something I'm triggering here without my hands. Yeah, actually, you came here on a late night Friday. Did you come here? Because I'm going to trigger you. Do you want to be triggered? Listen, you want to be triggered? Just go, not now, please stay on the stream, but later, just go press Mars-Uranus conjunction or something in the YouTube, whatever, and I'll bet you there will be something that you'll find that will be purposely done to push your buttons or to hype you up or to freak you out or some shit. But anyway, so... Let's, Lilac Tree, good to see you. What's up? I knew I was going to have a small crew tonight, and that's okay because of what I have to do. My voice sounds different, and I'm having to change. There's a little bit of that. It's a little too there. Maybe there. Maybe there. Taking a little bit of the high end off. Okay, so, all right. Hey, look at here. Look at there. I'm going to talk about Mars and Gemini actually, and briefly I'm gonna actually run through each rising sign super quick and basic like a Mars and Gemini would. This is more for me on the testing of equipment that I'm doing here in the late night. Can't stay super late because I have to help do this webinar weekend for ESAR this weekend in the morning, and need to get through that. So let's do that. Hey, GME, what's up? Each couple weeks here, I'm going to be experimenting with certain things here to get it together. I could do this on my own in private streams, but I already have my own private streams that I do with myself. That's my life. I just look at myself and start talking to myself. I mean, for some reason that old song from the 80s that Tina Turner sang, Private Dancer, is kind of more of like a strip dance. I don't know what the hell. All right, so let's point something out here. Oh, let me, I got to do this. I got to test my there. I have to look at something really quick. I don't like the fades, the switches are going too fast. I want to change that eventually to go slow fades, but that's something I have to do. And there, we're going to go back. So, all right. Here, hey, let's take a look at 29 degrees Mars here, right? And then you see Neptune here. We have Mars, Neptune sextile. A good alleviation, hopefully, for some in the masses, if whether they know it or not on a Friday night, they're drowning sorrows or drowning victories. I don't know. Take advantage of the last degree here touching Neptune, where I think Neptune likes to dissolve and wipe away in this case. We can get infatuated with something here we in one sense, we can, a different kind of an obsession, not a Pluto obsession, but a Mars and Taurus kind of, and I'm going to say this because we're going to look to Venus here that is ruling the Taurus here. So it's a very fixed energy, stubborn energy, but it could be good. It could be fixated on relationships or love or indulgence here with Mars and Taurus. And Venus and Leo, they like to indulge and enjoy the pleasures, to be honest. By rule, Mars doesn't like to be in Taurus, but let's just catch those two things right there. And it combining with Neptune, it could be, a little, not elusive, but stepping out of, it could be a nice warm bath, to be honest, with some herbs in there and a good whatever you take to partake to your senses to relax yourself after. I don't think it's this week, regardless of the political stuff and the major technical crashes that have happened this week and all this other stuff. I think in one's personal life, if they've been affected by fixed transits, that you've been through a lot the last month and a half, I would say. Actually, all the way, I think, back to where Jupiter was in at the end of Taurus in May. And then Jupiter made its move into Gemini, which was kind of an intense switch up for people, and a Venus-Jupiter conjunction. But Mars is bringing up the rear here on these spaces that Jupiter was in the springtime, honestly. And so if you're a Taurus person and you have planets there in Scorpio, this has probably been very active for you for the last month and a half. There's probably been a lot of movement that's happened. So it's, again, it's all how you've been dealing with it. Hopefully you figured some things out. And you probably made some changes, or the changes are in play. And know that you're going to be all right, okay? It might take a little bit and things will have to settle. I don't think the Mars story is done. I think Mars, in general, what it's doing and what it will do all the way to the next spring is huge. It's kind of relentless transit here with Mars going through Taurus. It went Aries, intense eclipse stuff, and then Taurus, then Gemini here, which I'm going to talk about, and then we go into Cancer, and it's its own long story. So you could see here how big Mars is involved here. I'll also say that Mercury's in play here as long as we have Gemini stuff, okay? So know that looking to Mercury. Let's see if I get this right. I did. All right, so let's check it. There's this. Hopefully you're doing Mars Neptune. All right, let me do something here. In honor, is this the one? No. That's not the one. I'm testing. Bear with me. This one is called no. What the hell? I see. Okay, I did test that. All right, so doesn't look good what I'm doing lighting wise, and I need to change something. Where is it? This is a little too there, and maybe I'll go brighter there today. Yeah, that is good. Okay, so Lilac Tree says that IT thing, I got stuck in the airport this morning, but it was fine. Give me a chance to slow down, catch my breath. Yep. The IT thing. All right, let's do this. So, well, as of tomorrow at 8:17 a.m. on the 20th, we have the exact Mars-Neptune sextile that's going to happen at 29 degrees. And then at 1:43 p.m., Mars and Gemini will begin. All right? And I will tell you that off the bat, it's on the 21st. Let's do it. I'll just go day by day. On the 21st, you will see Mars here at 0, and we knowing that it's going to make a trine to Pluto. And pretty good beginning of the Mars and Gemini transit. And I think a great way to get rid of Mars and Taurus after it going through the temple of Neptune. Then we have Mars Pluto trine, which people, you it's fucking powerful stuff here, man. And if you're a wait a second, I need to do something here, because I'm still not satisfied with my test stream. I might have to go. No, you're not seeing what I'm doing, but this is why I'm testing tonight. This is a little, I'll give myself a little bit of warmth there. So I'm a little too warm on this light. Here we see Mars and Pluto trine. We could seed moment here. This is a big deal when it comes to the things I've talked about this year, when it came to the Pluto ingress in Aquarius again, and all the planets that went through in February in Aquarius, and the Aquarius part of your chart, and the vows and the promises that you've made on my stream to yourself, and the long story that's happening here. But for the world, I think this is an interesting spot here, because at this point, looking here on the 21st, we've come out. We're pretty much, let me see when it's exact. Let me do it this way, since I'm testing tonight and I'm not worried about if I fuck up or not. We'll do Mars trine Pluto, and we'll go there. Make sure we get it right on 8:47, July 21st. Sunday for a lot of us here in the Pacific end is what's going on. So there it is. I was almost close, actually. So basically, we have early Sunday morning, we have the full moon in Capricorn happen at 29 degrees, and you can see the sun here is still there, right? So here now the moon has moved through. We've had a moon-Pluto conjunction already right after the full moon, and then we get this Mars-Pluto thing. Now, Saturn, there's a bunch of other stuff happening in this chart, but I just want to concentrate on Mars-Pluto. If you are affected fixed degree-wise at 0 degrees, really take advantage of a seed moment here, because, or not a seed moment, but a continuation of the 0 degree story. And this is some higher mind stuff. I mean, this is very powerful if you tap in to the exploration of your mind, but it's more about like the quickness and the multifacetedness, and the way Aquarius and Gemini work together is actually a lot of times, I think, an open palette for the mind, and anything goes. And Aquarius is already running weird in the world, and a lot of people don't get it. And Gemini gets it. They're just loving it. And Aquarius just cannot help to walk towards the Gemini too in their ice cold cave, and they come out of there and they can't help it, because there is a symbiotic mental amazing connection, and it's very future oriented. It is not at the time of when the mind is going. It has to do with something beyond and what's ahead. So I love stuff like this because it is huge for me. And we want to take this powerful moment of what Pluto can unearth in this playful exploration of mind and do something with it, or continue the 0 degree story in Capricorn. So, or excuse me, in Aquarius. So just, if it calls to you and it's there, you get off on your mind. Do it. What's that song by Prince? Get Off? Gemini? Oh, yeah. My mind. Elliot Ramirez is in chat. Taurus Risings have been going through it since last year, last eclipse season. Yep, yeah. Oh, totally, yeah. As anybody watches my channel for the last 2 years, I've definitely talked about that. KC's in the chat, and I see Kathy Lewis. Hello. So let me keep going here. First big aspect, we have Mars trine Pluto. Okay? So I have to do something here you're not going to see. I have to keep it real that way. You're going to see what I'm doing. I have a guide here for myself. All right. So what? Nicolas, I knew I was doing something weird here. That's why I'm testing stuff tonight. I see what the hell is happening. This is how it goes, man. This is how it goes. I have to redo something here. I'm learning lessons as we speak. So, all right, we did Pluto trine. The next thing we're going to look at major aspect-wise with Mars and Gemini is actually on August 2nd. There's a lot more in between, but we're going to go all the way to August 2nd because I want to show you something here. It's right here with Mars in Gemini, and it is... well, it's 9 degrees, but it's around 8 degrees there. It is sextiling the north node at 8 degrees in Aries and trining the south node. So here's the nodal story, the eclipse story, and Mars gets to help out here now. Again, fire and air and air here. That is the next situation that happens if you are a person that's affected by these eclipses. Really take in the Mars and Gemini and run with this. And the cool thing is that Mars and Gemini at this point is ruled by Mercury in Virgo. It's about to get funky there because Mercury is pretty much slowing down to go retrograde, as we see right here. And it's going to do that all the way back into Leo eventually. That's the weird thing about this transit, is there's going to be a retrograde shadow stuff and retrograde stuff. As a matter of fact, we're already there, I think, starting it. So, Tara, how are you? Good to see you on Late Night Friday. So here we got a cool, really superb interaction between Mars and the nodes, ruled by Mercury in Virgo. Mind is alive here. Mercury in Virgo is all about the details and lining up and seeing systems within themselves and the efficiency of systems and the configuration of systems, the tasks, to-do list, the things that we need to do to get through the day. And if we didn't have Virgo, we wouldn't have that. If we didn't have the analyzation and the criticalness and the critical mind, we wouldn't be able to take care of business, right? And that's why we're thankful for Virgo. And it's really fueling this Mars and Gemini right here. Now, if you are not, in particular in your own chart, feeling the Mars in Virgo or Mercury in Virgo transit or Mars in Gemini, and it's doing other stuff to your chart, this is where I could see the Mars in Gemini could be completely pushing hard in the mind. And things are scattered. Is it, do you even know what you're saying? And that kind of narrative is going to get ramped up through this transit. But for those who have air and fire, I think this is really good. Some of you, again, let's not just take the Mercury and Virgo alone because it will vibe with water and other earth. But just think about it from an air and fire point of view, and Mercury ruling this. Now, but again, Mars is pushing hard in Gemini. We could start to see hints of scatteredness, but here I like this transit. I like it. I'm going to have to keep changing something here in the background that I have while I go. Gem Astrology, happy Mars hour on a Venus day. Yeah, that's night Mars. So for some of you who would do planetary hour work, some people only do it with the planetary hours in the morning, but each planet actually has their night version where they flow, and the Mars night hour is actually when the sun goes down on Fridays, the day of Venus. And I think Venus's night hour might be on Monday nights, when the sun goes down. So I just for some quick planetary hour stuff, when I was doing ritual right now, I'm on break with that stuff for altars. I would also do, it was weird to do ritual on Venus days, but then at night Mars, but depending on the situation that was going on. So anyway, hey Steffi G, good to see you, and KC in chat. Welcome back. So, I don't know if you can hear me doing that in the background. Let me know in chat if you notice some noise in the background. Yeah, let's do that. And so, let me go to now again. And this is really pissing me off what's going on here. But it's going to happen I know what to do. As I do my test. And if I should know where it went. And hold on a second. I'm testing something right now. Oh, the next aspect we're going to get is... wait a second. I skipped something. Did I? Shit. Mars. Hold on. My test. The 26th. Did I skip something? I did. I totally... Well, no. You're going to see what I'm doing right now. I'm just going to show you what I'm trying to figure out. We're going to go back. I need to do it this way. We're going to go back like this, and we're going to go back to now. And I need to look at the days ahead, and I need to look 65 days ahead. And here it is. So I talked about the 3rd there with Mars. Yep, I did. And then there's Mars sextile Venus. That is on the 4th. Now I know what to do. And I need to do it this way. Thanks for hanging with me on a test tonight. I'm trying to do this on the fly for other times to do it more efficiently and faster. I'm definitely doing my thing here, and I need to pull up something. I don't want you guys to see that. And then I will go like this. All right. And then I will go, wow, that is a shitty way to look at it. But that is like this. Oh, man, that is weird. Is that what my clients see? This kind of shit. All right, so we're going to look at it there. All right, thanks for dealing with me there. So, yeah, we get to... I am on track. I was doing this right. So after Mars hits the August 2nd here, as you experiment with me, here's the 3rd. Here's where I brought up the Mars and this. It's actually happening on the 3rd the next day. It is then the next Mars aspect through its transit in Gemini is actually going to hit on, let's say, the 4th here. So the 3rd this happens. The 4th is here, right? And then we see Mars here in Gemini. And this is so wrong. We're going to eventually have a sextile. No, we're not. We're not going to do that, are we? I'm failing on air right now. Bear with me. I'm going to have to do it the other way that I like to do. And my experiment is failed. All right. So, here for the testing. I got 36 people watching me fail. Just you are not failing. You're pushing the boundaries of your mind. You will do this during the Mars and Gemini transit, Nicholas. Your Venus, Sun, and Gemini will flourish. It is now under this evaluation that you will find the tangents and outlets of your mercurial mind, and you will let Hermes deliver and be the cipher to the top of your head, into your vocal cords, and out through your eyes. The messages will flow eventually, but behind the scenes, a Gemini will fail, and you wonder how the tricks become tricks, and how the clouds become pink, and how my face appears. It's all done in a lab. And the lab is the Aquarius part of my chart that flows with the Gemini. But most of the time, it's all done in secret. It's only when things are public that the Gemini trickster seems so on point. Many of us Geminis will experiment out in the world. So there is that too, right? But from what I do, I knew tonight I was going to mess up. And I'm like, okay, people can deal with me or not. But I'm giving you the I'm showing you what happens to me in my mind and what I'm doing. And it's little things like this that I'm fucking up with the charts that I normally do by myself, but I need to do it in motion, in action, in real time with people. So Mila says that tone is unnerving. Good to hear. Good. That's unnerving. So saying that, hey, Ryan says the synth is never a failure. Oh, I know that, Ryan. I know that. Others aren't going to know it. Others unsubscribe. Little do they know where that takes me messing around like this. Now that's unnerving. So let's jump back in. All right, let's do it. Let's do it the way I want to do it. The way I will do it the other way here. Besides looking at my computer program. Man, I jumped way ahead. Yo sé, I know why. I know what's going on here, all right? I know exactly what's happening. And let's bring up, this is what I got confused with. All right, let me do this back again because I sort of was on point. Let's make a point here, something that I forgot, because when I showed you the chart here, it's the day of, where is it? On the 4th. Oh, I see what I did. It's there. Okay, I see. You could see here on the 4th that Venus eventually goes into Virgo, but it's the stationary degree. This S is not red yet, but Mercury stationing retrograde here, and that is why I got confused. So we can see that Mars at this point is past this, and it's moving forward. But at this point, this is important to remember, and this is what I was trying to get to, was Mercury in Virgo will station retrograde. And remember, during the whole Mars and Gemini transit, Mercury's going to be ruling in the retrograde. It's going to be ruling this Mars and Gemini, and this is where it gets funky, okay? There isn't an exact, well, I will save that for later, okay? Save that for later. Yeah. All right. And this is what I'm getting to. You could see already building here. Before I get into each rising sign, I'm just going to go quickly here. You're going to see here, it's on this pretty much day on the 13th of August. Man, we're already talking about August. And I don't even know if I'm going to make this video official. I might put it down afterwards. But then again, who fucking gives a shit? So here at early in the morning, and this is what we all really want to pay attention to. We talk about Mars, Uranus this week, and I get it. I get certain things that have happened on a mundane level for people, but I actually think that the week building up to this moment here, you could see right here that Mars here is making its conjunction with Jupiter. And what would you rather take? And you're going to find out now. You're going to see, would you rather take a Mars-Uranus moment, and I mean for the world, or Mars-Jupiter? So I think they both can suck, but I think there's both another side to this. You have to make the call for your own chart. But the closer Mars gets to this day on the 14th, it just starts ramping up. The mind, the messaging, the information, a retrograde Mercury here that's at this point at 0 degrees Virgo. It's about to go back into Leo. And you could see here that things can be really blown out more than they are when it comes to mental faculties in the mind and what we do with this. Now, this is very important, again, that you look at your own chart. You look to see if you're affected by this. You got any planets in Gemini, immutable stuff in your chart that's at places like this, that we're going to see a lot of possible... And I don't know if you're really paying attention to what's going on in this chart, but we're going to get to that in a second. But you could see a pushing of something that is coming too much, too scattered, too many places at one time. This is one way it can work. For me, this is a superb transit at this point. And here's the reason why, is if one has to take a calculated, hopefully patient approach here, because you're looking at a major square that's happened officially already, with it's on its way with Mars and Jupiter to Saturn. And that this is the secret place in my mind, is the Saturn retrograde. Because if you are being blown out, and if it is in the political sphere and out there, completely smashed brain cells and complete, how much more rhetoric, how many more posts, how much more algorithm, you know what I mean? It's like, and you know what, it's interesting, I think it is that if you look at the flavor, the sense of things for the last year and a half on the internet, just like technically, it's failing. You actually have seen a massive experimentation thing going on, I think, since the pandemic happened, because everyone was forced to be at home, and a lot of technology corporations, the people making webcams, live streaming. I mean, there's so much here that we were much more dependent than ever on the need to work and connect, because we were holed up. Some of us were holed up. And there was benefits to this, because I think we saw a lot of invention happen with the software companies, with people who were dealing with technology. We saw massive amounts of innovation. I deal with some of the innovation every day when I do with my streams. A lot of the stuff I've learned here with OBS and everything was all happening because I was working on a major live stream music project during the pandemic. I helped part of a team with NORWAC to make the whole NORWAC conference go online the first 2 years. We did it. There's all different levels of just doing things on the fly and having to deal. And in that sense, try to understand the benefits of this and how we use it now technology-wise. But I think it's turned into another thing the last year and a half, because first of all, the competitiveness between a Chinese company and Meta. So TikTok versus Facebook and Instagram. Two of the biggest, Google, YouTube is the biggest really platform, to be honest, okay? But so there's Google, there's the three. So you're talking about the biggest influencers who have control over information, in the sense, and how we create and what we do. And they started to change their algorithms. Instagram, IG, they were losing to TikTok. And so they've been in, if anybody is a creator and knows what they're doing, and they're dependent, like many people are on social media profiles of doing certain things, you have seen the experimentation happen on every single company. They've failed. They've added new things. Startups have failed. Startups were bought out. Instagram today just put out a new note feature. Every week there has been something for a while from all these companies that are adding new features because they're trying to one up. They're trying to do that. But what has happened is that instability has been created. And just when things started to get stable coming out of the pandemic, technology-wise, again, it was flipped on its lid. And I don't think we're out of it. So back to what I was saying earlier, have you noticed the algorithms are different, right? The way people are posting is different. It used to be Instagram was a way you would post certain things. Now they went full TikTok reel style, and now you're not getting the coverage like you used to, and people are pissed. At the same time, people are taking advantage of that, and they're making the whatever it is, from Twitter turning to X, fuck Elon, by the way, and then you have Threads and all this stuff. Everything is in flux. That's why, for me, if you are thinking about Mars, Pluto here aspect that's going to happen here, think about the inventiveness and the openness for yourself and your mind. And know what you're willing to take into your mind and what you're willing not to. And you're in full control of this, by the way. So when we get to places like this, where we have Mars, Jupiter, all this is in flux, the politics, everything's overloaded and everything's in flux, we want to come to Saturn because it's the limiter. It will slow things down. It will be no, too much, too fast. And you have this going on during a Mercury retrograde, and Venus is, ruled by this too in Virgo. You see an applying opposition that's happening between Venus and Saturn. So here we started off talking about Mars and Gemini and Mars Jupiter, but you see now we have the first Jupiter Saturn square that's involved in this, and there's the tension of Saturn limiting, but Mars and Jupiter exploding through Gemini and wanting to push out in so many directions all at one time, and Saturn trying to hold down the boundary, right? Now, it can come across as really heavy for mutable people, the stop sign of Saturn. But if you can remediate and live and learn with Saturn, remember it's retrograde right there. You have some months here, because when the second Jupiter-Saturn square is going to happen later in the year, Saturn will be moving forward. Jupiter will be retrograde, okay? And then we're going to be dealing on a mutable level down the line when Mars, I won't get into that yet. So I just want to say that. I'm seeing, let me go look at chat really quick while I'm ranting here. Ryan, I'm a synth aficionado. I see Ryan. Ryan's his birthday. My birthday is now. Hey, what's up? What's up, Crab? Happy birthday to you, Ryan. I think the chat's talking to you. Good for you. Happy birthday. Lilac Tree, I see in the chat. Kudos to you. Oh, Scorpio Rising. Oh, okay. It's not boring. Sarah Lisa, I see you in chat. MC, there's a lot of fuckery going on. There always is. Patrick Carrick. Move away from any service that prizes engagement or anything that just keeps suggesting more to watch. It's pretty much, Patrick, is everything, everything internet now, isn't it? So, y'all remember, all you people ordering books over the years, a bookshelf, go engage with that. There's a limit. You could stop it. You pick and choose what you pull off the shelf. It's not, the books on the shelf are not being thrown in your face and you have to catch one, unless you're living some magical life that way. But you know what I mean? You're choosing. You choose. You are the algorithm. You choose the book on the shelf. You choose which one. Now is it Mars, Jupiter, 5 books? Careful now. Make sure you get through one of the books, okay? Unless you're researching. Hi, Sunbeam Network. Patrick. Motherfucker. Good to see you, man. Okay, so let me continue my experiment. Big moment here. No messing around. Let's just keep it general. Remember, there's Mercury at 0 degrees, about to go into Leo. Hell, let's just go the next day to see what the hell happens. We'll go by the day, okay? And we'll go kaboom. All right, so you see now 29 Mercury, okay? And we're going to get to something here. We're going to go right there, okay? Right there. We're going on a tangent in this stream. You see 27 Mercury retrograde, and we see 27 Uranus, okay? Are you noticing something here? You gotta look. You gotta look around. You gotta look around here. So you see this happening. You got a Mercury square again. This is a second square because Mercury in Leo is going to do it the first time on the run, right? So we're going to keep going. And I'm pointing out Mercury things because it rules this Mars Jupiter. It's not over yet. We keep going, right? We're going to go by the day. Mercury Sun conjunction. We're doing the conjunction at the sweet spot of the Mercury retrograde, where this Mercury's at the heart of the Sun. Still squaring Uranus. Okay. I'll point this out. All right. This is all part of Mars Jupiter, okay? So now we get to this point. Okay, you're seeing what's happening here. As a matter of fact, I'll do it this way. I'll do it this way. Okay. Then we get to this wow kind of day, which is a full moon in Aquarius at 27 degrees. Mercury's right there with it. But who's in the game is Uranus at 27 degrees. And so this is a set off. Now, a lot of the stuff that we're catching the last week with Mars and stuff in the Taurus, you think about the degrees, okay? Here it is on another level. Okay, and it's interesting because of where Mercury is ruling this Jupiter and Mars. I think it's bigger volatility than one crazy 2 incidences of software breaking down and some presidential candidate getting hit with a shard of glass, okay? Because that's what it really is, by the way. It wasn't a bullet. It was a shard of glass hitting something else. So, and it was real. It wasn't a fucking setup, people, okay? My Democrats out there who've gone on a conspiracy train and you're happen to be watching and you're like caught up in the rhetoric of the Democratic Party and like you're just acting like the QAnons in your own way, okay? So get over yourselves. You want to win? Get over that part of stuff, okay? Saying that, huge full moon. I think one of the most volatile of the year. Intense, more intense than the transits that we had this week. I think they're there, but whenever I think about Mars and an outer body planet together, I think it's long lasting, right? But here you got multiple planets here, and it's not just Uranus, the T-squaring all this. It's Mars and Jupiter there and all this. And Saturn is right there. And here's where we catch it, right? So let's go look at the official. I think I'm blowing myself out here, aren't I? Get some kind of grindy audio on my test tonight. Hi, Jan Halverson. BCB, what's up? Okay, so let's keep going. I need to backtrack here because I'm in Mars Gemini mode already. You can already tell because I don't really care how the stream goes and what I'm doing. But let's actually look at the Saturn. We go Jupiter square Saturn. And you could see here the 19th officially, 247. Here it is right there. Let's just make a note of that. Is the official Saturn Jupiter square. Right? And it's the full moon. It's the full moon. It's everything we were just looking at. It just the moon's at 2 degrees off. It just moved. It's fucked. I never say fucked charts, but this chart's just like intense. So I again this is a Mars and Gemini sort of late night transmission that I'm going off on. I'm 48 minutes in. Make notes. It builds. And the closer we get to the hottest part of the northern hemisphere here in mid-August, it sets off. I think this sets off a lot of places. And politically, I am more worried about this, to be honest. Now, in your own lives, if you're affected by this, please, you caught a 1-minute snippet of me saying that it's an intense chart. Okay? If something happens around these days that's big, I didn't predict it. You're watching this, you predicted it. We predicted it. Anybody looking at the charts is predicted it, okay? If you're going to get specific and you want to spend your fucking time wanting to do that and influence some charts, go right ahead, go do it. More power to you. Some of you probably saw me put an Instagram story tonight saying I was going to go live. And if you saw the next story after that, I quoted a song. It's the Mountain Song from Jane's Addiction. And there's a part in it that everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own opinion. Time to cash in. And that is the last week. All I've seen. We know the media does this. Most people do this. But let's stick with the astrologers, which includes me, but I'm not really in this. Cashed in on brutality and fear, anxiety, and panic. There is one way to go look at the correlations in a chart for an event or anything, and you look at it and you study it and whatever. Cool, that's what we do. It's a whole nother thing when you throw spice on it, when you take that technical part and looking at the ways things work with astrology and human events, and you take that and you put it into something else to scare, to push buttons, to prove, to cash in. Because that is really the last week from my eyes. I have respectable astrologers out there that I've looked at that have done a great job with the rhetoric about what happened with Trump and the Mars-Uranus square. They were really respectful with the way they did it. They actually took their time. But most, some on a more extreme level, had the huge something in them where they had to say that they were the one. They proved it. They did this and they did that. And I'm looking at this. This has always have gone on with human beings and things, okay? There's some people who they have to have their name in lights and they want to be in the annals of fucking history or something, okay? Just do it respectfully. But for the most part, this goes back to what I'm saying. The way the social media apps are, the way everything is set up, is if you do not create a fire basically on your profile or on your channel or on your YouTube or whatever, you are not going to get the likes, you are not going to get the followers, and you are not going to get the cash. So there are those who have been doing this for a long time. Right before the pandemic, during the pandemic, they've gotten their followers, they've gotten everything they have because they were using anti-vax talk, vaccination talk, whatever fucking side you decide to be on, whatever it is, they were fueling this, the politics, the elections, Russia, whatever fucking 5D conspiracy alien shit from Alex Jones kind of mind thinking to libertarian mindsets and taking the extreme and, oh, they're keeping our freedom of speech down, blah, 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 blah. And they're mostly, I think you understand what I'm saying. And you know, a lot of the public slowly over time have just go there and without realizing it. And I actually think that a lot of the astrologers that are doing this, they have manipulated, they have known what they're doing because the ka-ching is coming in. And some of them, I don't think, know what they're doing because they're too young to know what things used to be like before. So they're coming in with generations and things. It's all they've known on the drug, on the fucking internet and the phone is to do things a certain way. And it's just normal. And everybody who comments and piles in on the rhetoric and fuels the thing, it's just a normal thing. Meanwhile, everyone's popping pills to deal with their fucking anxiety and doing whatever it takes to fucking quell their shit. And they don't even know that some of it is going in because of what they're absorbing. All the other people that I know that have to do things to take care of their bodies, that have nothing to do with like the internet and everything else, they're legitimized. They get it. They have to do whatever they have to do to survive. But I don't give excuses to anybody who purposely fuels shit using astrology to create panic and fear and then to cash in. And then create situations where people are fighting each other online in the comment sections. Doesn't matter because the fucking algorithm's pushing them up. That's why you didn't see me do anything on this. I don't want to. It's not my style. It's not my style to sit here and to go, oh, look who got shot in the head. You look who got killed. I'm going to be the first one. I'm going to be the first one. I got to cash in. So I do my live streams. I go on rants like this and I lose subscribers. I'm not gaining. I lose. But when I'm sitting here and I'm walking in the world, I'm winning. You'll never see me do that shit. If I'm going to talk about the president stuff this year and stuff, I'm going to try to take a legit thing. Let's take a look at it. Some soccer player that I did, whatever else. But I'm not going to sit here and shoot the algorithm up my veins and then throw that at you. Pay attention to what you're taking in. Take a pen. You got my opinion here, whatever. You got my opinion? Take it or leave it. I lose subscribers, I lose them. What I'm not going to do is jump the fucking shark and sacrifice my fucking ethics, right? Sacrifice shit All I care about is I got to make a living, and I got to do it the best way according to my code. And most importantly, as an astrologer, because I'm a counseling one-on-one astrologer, is all I care about is when I'm one-on-one with a client that I do the best I can for the client. I don't care what's happening in the outside world. I don't care about that. I don't need to prove anything at all. The only thing I need to prove is it to myself that I was in a situation using astrology with a client to the best of my abilities, and I was honorable and there mirroring, holding space, and doing the best. And I'm not always the best. I think I suck still, and I'm doing things that I can to become better and better. And I will always do that until I'm fucking dead. I don't want to take something like this and to fuck with people. There's enough of it. A 21 on August 14th, Mars will be conjunct Jupiter. The next day on the 15th, we have the official Mars-Saturn square that happens at 10:30 p.m. on August the 15th. We hit Moon in Aquarius on the 17th. No. We hit Moon. No. Yes, we did. I don't pay attention to me. I looked back a week. Then we do Mars, Saturn on the 15th. I know what's going on here. There's the 17th on the Saturday. We got Mars in Aquarius. I point this out because Mars will conjunct Pluto. It's the next day where we have the official Mercury square. There's 26. Just to do some recapping here, it's around that time. Officially on the 18th, retrograde Mercury squares Uranus at 2:46. We have the Cazimi that happens on the 18th at 6:58 p.m. Right there. My arrow's there. We have the official Venus-Jupiter square. That's where I was getting to right here. That's happening right there on the 18th also. You could see how we go through this whole August. I think is one of the craziest months of the year. So then we get into the next day. We'll just go here on the 19th. I didn't know it was going to turn the forecast to August kind of, but we're going to look right here to Venus at 18. We see it opposite Saturn. That happens. We have a Sun finally at 27, square Uranus. There it is. Jupiter square. We already did that. I already did that. I am going through that, and I'm getting here because I'm doing it the old school way. I'm using ephemeris. Can you believe it? On the side, that's what I'm doing instead of the software. While I use the software, that's some Gemini fucking shit right there. So there is Venus at 21 degrees, and here is a major Mars-Venus square that's going to happen with all this. That's probably one of the major things that comes out of this kind of zone in mid-month. Then we do Mars square Venus. Okay, and then on the 23rd here, we are going to go right here. You're going to see Mars and then Mercury have their sextile, retrograde sextile here. A great moment after all the Mercury stuff that Mars, from the beginning to this, he's been involved with Mercury transit and Virgo retrograde station, everything that happened with these transits I've talked about. Then we get into this part here. It's funny. It's like Mars comes through some of this stuff and then meets up with Mercury and Leo. And you know, again, what one does with the remnants of the volatility of the month here, we want to take a creative inward evaluation. I'm thinking Mercury and Leo being retrograde, but what we can do here with the fire and air. We started this stream about fire and air with Mars sextiling the North Node, trining the South Node in Libra. We have this other moment here. And, you know, that happens as we are now with Mercury being in Leo, and after going into Virgo and coming back, we have this moment after everything else. So it's kind of funny. You have these tie-ins here with Mars and Mercury, right? So, okay, let's keep going, and then I'm going to be done. And then I'm going to skip. You see Mars sextile. We'll just fucking do it right here. You see it right here. Chiron. There's the Chiron connection that's going to happen between fire and air. And I am going to keep going, and I'm going to show you something else. And it is on the 4th of September. No, it's at the very end. Let's go right here. This is the one I want to do before I'm done with this. And we will go, I haven't even looked at the chat. We will go to the 2nd. God, it's September 2nd already. You will see here, Mars 28. We're getting into 29. We're getting to the Mars-Neptune square. That's how pretty much Mars and Gemini goes out, and it's the beginning of September. Noted. And then it's on the 4th that Mars goes into Cancer. That's for another stream and whatever else. Let me look at chat. Patrick, just say no to blue and on. Mila's bringing up yep, the convention's happening. Yeah, well, there's more than the convention happening in August. Just remember that, people. There's more than the convention happening. There's life, okay? We'll go smell the flowers too, you know? If you're going to go blast your Mercury mind and do Mars and Mercury, have a challenging problem walking into the library and then pulling 6 books off where you don't know what to fucking check out or check them all out. That's a problem you want to be involved in. You want 7 YouTube videos open on 7 different tabs? That's my life every day. Go do it. Just make sure you finish one of them, okay? If you want my thing during all this, make sure anything Gemini that you start in your chart or that's going to happen in this transit, just finish one of them. Finish one of the situations or books or timelines. If you finish 2, you've mastered Gemini, okay? You've mastered it. All right, so Regina, I see you in chat. Patrick says poor impulse control with others to begin with. It can be. Jupiter makes it bigger, expecting awareness enough to fight the impulses, missing the long view of. Thank you, Patrick. Well done. Jendi, hello. Devin, good to see you. Yes. And Leanne and Jagger Waters with the super chat. Hi, Jagger. Hello, friend. Thanks for the late night tip, super chat. All right. By the way, for those who don't know, no, though I mean I could keep it on that, but I'm testing. See, I'm testing something. I want you to see something. I'm testing and doing this, right, and then I'm back to this, and then I could do that, but I'm really trying to get back to this. Okay, so I'm just testing something. So saying that, again, thanks, Jagger. Listen, I was going to go through each rising sign. Oh, my God. Do-do-do-do-do. Da-da-da-da-da. You're an Aries Rising? You're an Aries Rising? This is happening in your 3rd house, this Mars cycle. So it's what's closest to you. It's your neighbors. It's what's the vicinity. It's kind of your logical process that happens in your 3rd house if you're an Aries Rising. The traditional things, siblings and neighbors, your short journeys around you, that's your 3rd house. Is Gemini ruled. There could be a lot of intensity and pushing behind that and scatteredness there, depending on the type of person. You're an Aries, you're going to vibe, Aries Rising, you're going to vibe with this, okay? You're going to have something. But remember, it's during a retrograde, so you're ruled by Mars. Mars is going to be in Gemini. I could see things kind of, even though by aspect they vibe Gemini and Aries Rising, I could see it smashing into pieces, okay? The way the world's working these days, I could see that happening, okay? So be careful of that. Pay attention to your dreams. If I were to say anything, one of the dream houses in the old school ways is the third house for you, Aries Rising. That is the little something secret for me, is that place. I would pay attention to that place. So let me try something here. Let's see if I can do this. What the hell? Why does it keep there? No, is it going to do it? Yeah. So we got to remember for, let's pick this one for my Aries Risings. Those are my Aries Risings, right? We are going to say this Mars in Gemini, it happens in your third house. Okay. Let's just make a note of that. We also remember that Jupiter's there. If you want to make a side note, your Pisces house where Saturn is in the 8th house. Okay, so remember on that particular Jupiter-Saturn thing with Mars there. But just in general, third house stuff that's going to happen, I mentioned quickly what that is. Okay, so that is that. Hold on, because I'm testing things today. Bear with me. I'm going to do like that, and you can't see that. And just so you know, those who know me before you caught me on YouTube or know me as a public astrologer, I was very politically oriented in my life, involved in many different things in my past. So I've come to a place, I don't know if this is getting older, where you have to choose your battles, and if you're going to battle politically and be involved in whatever way, it has to serve you. It has to serve you. You have to feel like there's movement. And if you don't, and it's fucking taxing you and messing with you, step away. Let the people who can deal with certain situations deal with them and support them if they speak for you. And then there's situations when you're ready and you're on point, then you join the fray in the battle and the absorption of information. But really, step away. Clear your fucking mind during all this Mercury and Gemini stuff, or Mars and Gemini. It just in general for the information age. Just, you got to find your decompression place, or else you're not going to make it for the long haul. And that's why on this channel, I've always told you to stay to the vows and the Pluto and Aquarius story and all this stuff, because it's a long run. It's a long run of, if the politically oriented change and societal changes and all that stuff, you have to be able to surf for the long haul. You know, every single planetary outer body, starting from Jupiter or from Saturn all the way to Pluto, are all going to switch signs here in the next year and a half, 2 years. Get ready. It's a long deal, okay? So I just want to say that, okay? So all right, so let's get to my my Taurus Risings, my Taurus weirdos. This is happening in your money, well, it could be money house. It's looked upon that way. It's your assets and sustenance, right? You know, when we're dealing with stuff like this. So let's hit that up here really quick. Let's clear this out, and we're gonna say, do I stay? Maybe I'll go like this. Let's see if this works. So green, that's a weird green. That's a weird, no, I don't like this. So it needs to be thicker, this kind of thing. And how do I do that on this app? I want to make the marker thicker. Shit. Hold on a second. Let's just keep it like this. So there's Taurus, and we're dealing with second house. If you're a Taurus rising, when we deal with Gemini. Okay, so we got Mars and Gemini. Okay, there's that, right? So we know that, and then so we're going to take a couple steps back. And that house has to deal with wealth and sustenance and assets. You know, poverty too, not making any money. It's the same with the second house, okay? So, you know, it's a lot of things that we do and that we're into and that we desire that turn into assets and sustenance. That's what this place is. And so if you have Mars and Gemini here and Jupiter, we could see the mind moving fast here of what one can do to plot and to put things into motion with Mars and Jupiter and Gemini. This is pretty good. You know, it's pretty decent. It's okay. The only thing is, you know, that Mercury When Mercury is in Leo here, it's kind of funky. I think when Mercury goes into briefly into Virgo, it helps you out even more. But most of the transits is going to happen in Mercury retrograde in Leo. So it's kind of funky. It's not the best situations, but I just want to give you a clue that this Mars story, this Jupiter story eventually. And then if we take the Piscean house, which is the Pisces house for those who are Taurus risings, it is the 6th house. No. It's the 11th. It's the 11th, right? And that's the place of like 11th house. We'll just put 11th house like this. This isn't the, no. See, I've got to get used. I'm waiting for an Apple Pencil to come in the fucking mail right now to make this easier. So 11th house, right? We'll just put it like this. This place has to do with the people and the patrons and supporters of your desires and dreams. So you're going to hear community. You're going to hear these types of things, right? And, that's where Saturn is in Pisces. So these two houses, the 11th and the 2nd, is a longer term story here from this summer until next summer. But here with this peak point of the mid-August with Mars, Jupiter there, it's really going to be a thing about who from the asset or financial or wealth point of view, of whether it's money or whatever, supports you in the community and your patrons. Are they there for you? Are you reconstructing those areas? There is a reconstruction going on between the 11th and the 2nd, and you have to take that in consideration. But Mars and Jupiter will really push hard on figuring this out. It will push it so hard that eventually Saturn, when the square builds up, is going to stop it, and you're going to know your limit with Mars and Jupiter and Gemini in the 2nd, and then you take what that is and you work within the limits, okay? So that is the way I'm going to look at that. GME, I see you. I see you in chat. Let's do this like this. Thank you for the super chat, Libra Rising. We're going to get to it. I have to keep going because this is going way too longer than I thought it was. All right, so let's go to Gemini Rising, weirdos. And we will go here. Let's see. I mean, I could do this with my finger. It might be better. My audio is not the best. So we have Gemini Rising, right? We'll just go like this. This is your first house. That's you, your vitality, your way of being in the world. Your Mercury ruled. And that's where it's happening. And good for you. Use it until you lose your fucking mind. Because that could happen. And when Mercury's retrograde doing all this, you might not be firing on all cylinders. At certain points here, you got to get that in your head. You're going to push the limits. We can go back to when Mars was retrograde in Gemini, the last time Mars was in Gemini. Remember, that was a 7-month run of wackiness. I pushed it to the edge, that's for sure. I actually had a little mental breakdown for 36 hours because I think I did so many live streams. I was doing everything so fast on purpose to see how much I could do. And priding myself on my past as a Gemini of how much I can juggle and do, right? So it's one of these things where, great, you can do it, but I think here with Jupiter, Mars, slow the fuck down, and Saturn's going to do it to you anyway. And it's coming from the 6th house. Saturn will be in the 6th, right? So I'm going to work on these switches a little bit better, but Saturn in Pisces, Saturn is in your 6th. Right? So that's where they're squaring off from the 6th to the 1st. Not the best of things here. Take it easy with the system of your mind and how you do Mercury. Pay attention to where Mercury is in the sky during the retrograde, but you also have to look at your planetary ruler Mercury, and you have to see what's going on with that and if it's affected by other planets during this particular Mars and Gemini transit. Slow it down. Your actual speech into the world, how you're rising out into the world of the first house is in play here, and I'm sure you'll push it and there'll be amazing moments, but there's crash and burn too, and that's what you have to be careful of. And you have to be careful of your nervous systems and your lungs and making sure you breathe and calm yourself down. Huge benefit. You can probably pull off some miracle Gemini stuff during all this. Just know it's in certain places, not all the places. Patrick says, I'm turning into Chris Brennan with long form. Well, when I hit 2 hours, I'll do it because that's why I'm usually an hour and 30 minutes. I have to keep going. GME, thanks for the super chat. I see you. All right, Sarah, Eliza, great. I see you in chat. Let's keep going. Who the hell's next? Who's next in the zodiac? Who's after Gemini? Who's next? This is when I need the tears graphic. Okay, so my Cancer risings. Thanks for taking in my joke. Hey weirdos. You're doing 12th house stuff. Good. That's all. That's nice and fun. So my crabs. I wish I could draw a crab. You're having 12th house Mars transit. Gemini. All right. What's to say is house of the bad spirit. That's the old thing. Rehabilitative places, prisons, incarcerations. Sure, yes. In isolation, yes, definitely. Isolation is a word if you're going to take anything I said there. Rehabilitative is there, though, too, in isolation, by the way. How much in the mind can you be for a moon rule person rising sign? This is a weird place to be, to have so much. It's the antithesis almost of Cancer, right? The feelings place, but then there's the mental place. It's like, and then the mental shadows, not the shadows, the mental, you could think about it this way. The 12th house is exiled. Like things get exiled there. So you could think about the thoughts and mental pictures that have been exiled. And I could see them coming up in this place, but not having to put one's finger on it. That they're still, it's almost scattered exiles, and they're all coming at one time. And then, and through it, there's the sorrow and the grief of the 12th house. Okay, it doesn't sound so fun, doesn't it? It doesn't sound that good. It doesn't sound good. So let me make sure of this. So... we'll put one thing. Well, no. Why did it do that? Why did it change? It just moved on me. Exile. All right. But we want to remember. That we use the isolation and quote unquote imprisonment here maybe to do the filtering of our mind. And when Mercury goes retrograde, we do filter this. And when we come out of it, and Mars eventually goes into Cancer in September, we have a sense of relief, sort of, for 2 months. Bear with me, because I'm testing new stuff right now. But we know that Saturn, right? Saturn is in Pisces in your... why is it not going to do that? It's going to be in your 9th house finger. 9th house. So Saturn, the limiter here at some point here with Mars and Jupiter, is coming from your 9th. Pretty good, I would say. I like this because even though it's by square, I like what the 9th house does and what it can do there. And this process that you've been dealing with since the beginning of the Saturn and Pisces story of like what your code and what you live by and what your highest truth is, right? So, the philosophy, the truths, the debate, where we go seek things. If you're going to have a Mercury weirdness moment with Mars and Gemini and Jupiter and Mercury being funky during the retrograde, and you want to suss out in isolation, go look to the things in your 9th here that can help you put form to all this, because that's what Saturn does. It puts form in the limits, and there's temporary rule sets that happen with Saturn, and we dig that. We want that, actually, in the end. Even though it's by square and it could seem really tough, this is where you contain it, especially if you're a moon world person. You're going to need a container. You live in a container. The container shell that you walk around all the time. And not only that, if you're a Cancer rising, Saturn and Pisces is a trine, natural trine. This is your go-to place when you're overwhelmed with your 12th house. All right, so let's keep going. Sorry, I'm looking away from the camera. It's because... Well, actually, I can maybe do it like this a little bit. You just can't see what I'm doing into the Leo rising realm. And we clear that out. And my Leo risings, I should have used yellow. This is happening in your 11th. Okay, your 11th house. This Mars, this Gemini, Mars transit. I did everything opposite. Right? Okay, there it is right there. No. There it is. We talked about patrons and the people that support things, but you know what, here with 11th, one of the old school ways of looking at this is how we come to places where the people who do support us and our hope, the hopes that we have. And I think what fuels this is the good spirit that you have about your hopes and wishes and dreams, Leo. But then the people who support those things, the good spirit that can come from there. And I think a lot of it is there in this transit. If you're Leo rising, you're digging this because of a natural sextile that happens between your ascendant and the 11th house. This is pretty good. I like it. We know Saturn's lurking in the background the whole time for this. This is just part of the transit, okay? So it's like you're going to deal with that. I'll talk about that in a second. But, remember, your 11th is hopes. There. Hopes. Okay? Pretty good. I like it. Good spirit. But you know what we're really getting to? Is this. Is the alliances that can come from being social and moving around, because you can't help it right now during your birthday. And Jupiter and Gemini and Mars help you with this. And so get out there if you haven't already. Even if it's not flowing, start schmoozing, start kissing it up. Look good when you walk through the door. You're with your mane when you're walking through the life as a Leo rising. You're walking through the world. Do this kind of thing. Put yourself out there. In the end, I think the good spirit and the hope comes through. And it really comes through on a long-term level when we get to next year. At the end of the Jupiter and Gemini transit and Saturn and Pisces transit, there is a payoff here. And just to point out where it is, the Saturn and Pisces part of it, the Saturn and Pisces is coming from your 8th house of shared resources. You see the connection now? You're going to be linked up, but you're going to have to answer to, and you're going to be responsible to what you're linked up from the possible gains that you get that are coming from other people. You have two different parts of the chart here, which is interesting, that has to do with connections with people and support and resources possibly. So that's the long-term story, but Mars pushes it here. And for a lot of this is the interesting part here, is you're going to have to get your act together. You're going to have to get your act together when it comes to your propositions. And what I mean by that is during this transit, if Mercury's in Leo right now, goes into Virgo, and then does the retrograde back into this, everything that's happening now with Mercury and Leo, we're hitting the shadow phase now. Everything that's happening, what you're talking about, what you're dealing with, will be up for reevaluation and review during the Mercury retrograde. So it's a major factor in this transit with Mars and Gemini here when we go all the way to September. What you say, what you propose, how you come across, the words that are used, the charming, whatever, there could be some mess ups and things aren't clear during the retrograde, and you're going to have to clear it up. But do it, because for the long run, I think when it comes to the relation to the Saturn Jupiter connection in your chart, when I mentioned this 11th and 8th connection, it pays off. But you got to do the work. It can't just be charm, and it can't be just look at me and look at me. I walked in and I'm royalty. I deserve this. No, that's bullshit. You got to work for your shit. And you got to show it. This is where creativity and ingenuity come involved. And when your 11th connects to your 1st from the Gemini in your 1st, this is where you use it. And you're just look at it. Most importantly, if you're going to take anything from this, because I'm doing this all on the fly, is this transit, this Mars and Gemini transit, is a creative palette for you to experiment. Okay? Creative palette. You're going to do it inwardly and you're going to do it externally. And there's going to be times where the colors aren't just right, but that's okay. You take the creative mindset, as in that's how creativity is. You're pushing and experimenting. Let's keep going. Mark Anthony, yo, what's happened? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you good to see you, Mark, on chat. How are you? All right, so we're going to Virgo risings, and we know here that now this is one of the signs that I think is just going to be out of their minds because my Virgos are going to be having this transit in the 10th house, right? And we know what that is. We're dealing with career and what you're the authority on and how you're elevated and reputation and social connection and status, right? And that's where Mars and Jupiter, and they're pushing this already. It has been since the beginning of the transit. Pretty good, I say. You have to think long term. You also know that there's going to be a retrograde that's going to happen from the 12th to your 1st that's happening. So this is big. This is the key. Let me point out too that we know that Saturn is in your 7th house, okay, of partnerships. What's the other part of 7th house again? Open enemies, marriage, stuff like that. So anyway, there's Mars, but your 10th is elevated status, and so you need to go out there. You need to chat it up. And you need to get out of that shell, the word Virgo way of being, and know that I think you have to find faith in all of this. You have to find faith when the details aren't there or they're off point when Mercury goes retrograde, and then you're going to have to maneuver through something like that. That's okay. The faith part comes with Jupiter touching Mars in your 10th. But in the weirdest of ways, Saturn in your 7th, if you haven't been doing the work already, is going to bring in the structures that deal with how you deal with neuroticism in your mind. Not eroticism. Could be, by the way, if you're one of these. If when the Venus and Virgo opposite Saturn and Pisces, that could be some eroticism. Some people like power and control, and the Virgos, they're the bestial fucking virgins. They're the ones who own everything. They own their own bodies. It might seem like you have control of them, but you don't. They actually own it. They're their own boss. You think you have them on their knees, but no, they're doing this for bigger reasons. They are in control. They consented. It's to understand those types of things. Virgo and the service thing, you hear this all the time. It's very interesting, actually. You hear this Virgo service thing, and it's true. But there's an art to this. There's a reason why they do what they do. They're not like servant below you. They're autonomous individuals who understand the power of service or contributing. How did I get off on this tangent? Whatever the case is, Mercury's a big player in here because of what's happening with the retrograde, ruling Jupiter in Gemini and Mars in Gemini. Your 10th house is pretty big here. What's going to happen? Reevaluation, some shifting, but push it out there. Trust me. I think if you gamble a little bit with your mental capacity, Jupiter and Gemini, and Mars pushing this, yes, like Robert or Patrick said in the chat, you can be all over the place, blah, blah, blah. It's true. Got to be careful. Use Saturn to contain everything. I would actually have faith that everything's going to work out when you can't control the situation and tweak it a little bit more and is seeking the perfection that you want. Remember, in my mind, Pisces and Virgo, they try to get to the same place of purity and clarity and preciseness. Virgo does it in this earthbound way. But Pisces uses the other vessels to touch the divine. Virgo's doing it in an earthbound way with their mind to really get to the divine, the perfect. If you think about it in those terms, we bring faith in with the unknown when shit's all over the place and you're scattered, Virgo risings. Please take care of your digestive systems. Please get off the computer when you're supposed to do it. Calm your mind. Touch water in any kind of way to facilitate and to help bring everything on and calm your nervous systems down. You can gamble here on the 10th house, I think, with this. Again, show yourself. We already know your workhorses, depending on where your Mercury is. Blah 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 blah. Bless the Virgos, someone says in their chart. Totally, and they have an interesting season coming up because of what Venus is going to do in Virgo and the connections to Neptune and Saturn and some other. Put it this way. A lot of what I'm talking about here, I didn't put the chart up, but there's mutable T-squares that are going to happen Jupiter, Mars, and Gemini, Venus and Virgo, and then you have the Saturn and Neptune. So there we saw fixed T-square we saw earlier in this session, but we have immutable T-squares that are going to happen. So please take note of that. All right. Finally, we get to the Libra risings. I gotta blaze here. I gotta go faster than this because I didn't plan on this. So we're gonna go. I want better. This one, is that lighter? Maybe that one. Okay, we'll try that one. So, oh my God, that's horrible looking. We're just gonna pick. I think we'll do this one. All right. Libra Rising. Libra Rising. Okay, you're going to vibe here. We know it's a 9th house transit for you. Mars and Gemini. Jupiter's there too. I want you to go find a place of like a workshop or the yoga studio or the library or some kind of place and that's aesthetically beautiful, like that feels good, but you still feel like you're expanding your higher self, the knowledge that you need to take it through the 9th house, right? So it's something spiritual. It's a you go to the silent retreat or some shit. Okay, I don't know. You go. You could get on a plane. I mean, you really could. I mean, you could. How many trips can you take in 2 months? I mean, there's that with Mars and Jupiter there. Just got to watch the wallet, right? But really, that's kind of what it is metaphorically. If we're going to use an example, there's a lot of trips going on right here, whether it's your trips, to literal trips moving around or it's, I think another thing that comes in here is the code that one lives by. The other part of this is, I think, well, this is the weird shit, to be honest. It's like if we think 9th house, I already did that. Sometimes they put in this place as like what you see coming in, like what comes through from the old ways of thinking. So they're going to say not predictions, but like the visions or the prophecies that people see. There's one way to look at 9th house, there's another one. But I think to keep it really simple is your code and your truth and what you live by here is great. And it could be multiple debates and multiple books and multiple situations of engaging with people and learning and finding and touching untapped parts of your brain that have to do with your highest truth. And that's what's happening with the 9th. If we're gonna go into, while I'm just going here, all on the fly here, we know that Saturn is in your, did I get this right? Yeah, it should be in your 6th house. I think I fucked up on the stream a couple times, but oh well. So Saturn's in your 6th, and that's where you're going to have that. If there's a particular story going on as a Libra rising in your 6th house, that has to do with your cat or something like that. And pets, it's one thing. The other thing has to do with service and work and how you do that kind of thing. And so here, there's a connection to all that. I am coming more on the disciplined angle with this transit to corral the air and what could happen. For the most part, I think this isn't bad for you all. You're already dealing with South Node in your first for the last year, almost year and a half now. It's enough, isn't it? Okay? It's enough. As a matter of fact, I think this is an excuse for you. I think this is an excuse for you to go take the trip if you can. And if you can't get on the plane or whatever, get in the car. And if you need to take the bus and go to some park you've never been to that's on the other side of town, go do it. And do it with the intention. Do it with the intention of needing to breathe in something new and different. And how you breathe that in and how it engages your senses as a Venus-ruled person. And then what comes up here, what appears up here is what you take notes on, right? And that's where you bring form and structure and regimen to those ideas and thoughts that come through there. All right, so let me keep going. Scorpio weirdos are next. Let's just do it like this. No, that's not what I want to do. Scorpio weirdos. Okay. No, that's weirdos. Yeah. Okay, so the I'm sorry I'm like blasting the mic here. 8th house. You got to pay up now. 8th house is in your Mars in Gemini. All right, I think I could do this under 2 hours. All right, so there's that. Okay, you know what? There's a Bjork song. Is it Hidden Place? Wait, is that the name of the song? I go to the hidden place. It's something like that, isn't it? It's let me see here. It's hey, look I'm on my main page. There's Chris's face. Hi, Chris. Hey, there's Michael down here. All right, so Bjork Hidden. Yes, it is. It's Hidden Place. Yeah. Go listen to this song. Go. This is your homework. It's this song. It's your 8th house story. You go to the Hidden Place, okay? Anyway, it's kind of a actually chill place. It's an excuse place, actually, the Gemini part of your chart. It's an excuse place. And what I mean by this is this could be a place, the 8th here, an older thinking that is kind of in between. It's like you're like you take a car and you're driving from one place to the other, and then you kind of sit in the car, and the car's still on, but you're stopped. And while you're there, let's just say you were in a darker, shadowy place that had to do with the occult, right up your alley. Go read up about it. Use the Mars and Gemini and Jupiter and expand upon that area. Are you going to all of a sudden come into a lot of money? I don't know. It's traditionally inherent in its house. Sometimes a person needs to die in order for that to happen. We don't want that. But I think a lot of times when we deal in modern terms, we deal with the connections with other people and the possible benefits and gains we get from being tied in to other people's resources. And it's here where the exploration of Jupiter and Mars are going to push this. Just don't push it too hard. The interesting thing here is that you're a Mars-ruled person. And so wherever Mars is in your chart, it's one thing. But Mars being in Gemini, does it work in your favor as a Scorpio rising? It's weird because if we were to stand in your first house and we were to try to go look at your 8th house, you can't see it. You could see the opposite end of your 7th, but you can't see your 8th. It's an inconjunct. You can't see it. The rays don't connect to each other. So this could be a weird transit for you when some of the subject matter. Now remember, your go-to place with all this is actually going to be your 5th house here, where is on my experimental stream tonight, because I had no plans, is Saturn in Pisces is actually in your 5th. It's squaring your 8th house for the year here. And it's part of the mid part of this Mars and Gemini, as you saw around that lunation that's going to happen and everything there. This is the limiter place. This 5th house connects with your 1st house by trine. That's your go-to place. If you're all out of sorts with the 8th and the subject matters of legacy and occult and other people's resources in the 8th house there. But remember, you're kind of sitting in the car right there. And while you're there, go deep. But that's what you do. You go deep. It just is depends on where your Mercury is in your chart, and how you deal with Mercury in Leo and Mercury Virgo retrograde is the key here of how you balance all that. And let's just make sure I reiterate something. Okay? Make sure I reiterate this. Weirdos. Okay? Let me reiterate this. Power hungry. Power hungry. Scorpio risings. Clean your sunglasses. And if you want, and actually let's just reiterate, asses right there. So if you really want it, take off your sunglasses. All right, so Sag weirdo. No, they're not weirdos. They're just exaggerators. Sag exaggerators. Hey, your color. Yeah, color. Is that? Yeah, Sag exagger. This is happening in your 7th house of partnerships. All right. You're one of the mutable people here that are going to be severely affected by this transit in a lot of ways. Remember, the Saturn and Pisces stuff is happening in your place of home and family in the past and memories. There's restructuring going on here for almost a year and a half, 2 years. Neptune's been doing its work for a deep thing. The Jupiter-Saturn squares are happening from your 7th to your 5th home, relationships, family, the connections to that, your possible marriage, the contentions in between that happen in those areas, are there. But Jupiter is in Gemini and it does rule you. Now, according to old whatever's dignity, Jupiter doesn't flow there in Gemini. So this could be really hard for some of you. All depends on how you deal with this stuff. Again, you're mutable in your Sagittarius. You need to slow the fuck down. You're going to have to remember this. Slow down, because there is no slowing down, actually. There is no slowing down with this transit. And the slowing down is going to happen because of Saturn. Something's possibly with your home and the contentions or something there, or you're going to have to ground yourself there, or you're in the middle of moving, or you got to pay the fucking more. I don't know what is going on in the bottom of your chart. You have to nail that down, whatever that is. But it actually is part of this T-square. It's not the best place. Let's remember something here, though. Let's remember something, that your top of your chart is Virgo. So your 10th house, okay, is Virgo ruled. And pay attention when Mercury goes in there briefly, then Venus is going to be in there. Down the line after the retrograde's done and when Mercury goes through all this, you're going to actually come out with really amazing solutions to whatever predicament's going to happen between your 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. Pretty much anybody who has got mutable angles, your angles are going to be lit up because of this Mars and Gemini transit and because of Jupiter being there. It already is lit up. When we get into later this year, into next year, it keeps going because the eclipses are going to happen in Virgo and Pisces, and the mutableness is going to get set off. Whatever the case is, Sag, listen. Can you listen? Can you listen? Can you listen to nothing? Can you listen to somebody else? Can you listen to the world and what it's telling you? Simply, just try to listen. And when you're scattered and there's too many dreams and too many visions in play, step back, go home and chill, 4th house, Saturn and Pisces, and listen. What you want to do farther down the line, because you cannot help but run out the door and get on the bike and fucking windsurf or do whatever the hell it is. And just keep it going and too many shots. No, let's do another shot. I promise we're going to be fine. It's all happy-go-lucky. It always feels good. You're going to get tested here. As a matter of fact, I think you're going to have a major reality check that is happening here in the next 2 months. So just listen if you can. This goes for the Gemini too, by the way. You need to all listen, because the Virgos will listen. Unless you get them all pissed off and they're like, they didn't say anything. They're all passive aggressive about shit for a while. And then all of a sudden they all spurt it out. Then the Virgo's not going to stop talking because they were like serving. And then all of a sudden they're going to speak to you. That's a side note. Just listen. Oh my God. How did this turn into this? This wasn't planned. All right, so we got Cap Rising. Can I do the glyph? That's kind of the glyph right there, is Cap Rising. And I think this is happening in your 6th, isn't it? It is. It's a place you kind of don't see either. And you're going to have to, but at the same time, I think you like to kind of analyze your regimental structures, and how you get through the day and what you do and who serves you and how you serve them. God, they talk about subordinates in the 6th house, but it rules. The Capricorns really like that word. They rather be telling the person what to do. That's a joke, dark side. Here, there's a movement that's happening here. Let's remember that it's your 3rd house here, that the Saturn is going to be in your 3rd, right? And your Saturn ruled, and you're dealing with mutability. I think here, in simple terms, is to be able to see things from multiple angles. Can you do that? And are you learning the lesson of this? Because if you're being Saturnian ruled, you can get locked in on a certain way of being. There's no question that things can be constructed on your end. But I think a lot of times it's what one can do with systems in themselves and how they're serving or who's serving them. But it's, can you do 2 things at one time? Can you see it from 2 different angles or multiple angles? That is the simplest way I could say to look at this. The other thing is pay attention to inflammation or something that's of your mind, and that being inflamed, or not of your mind, in the 6th house. We know the 6th house has to do with illness in a lot of ways. So just pay attention to that kind of thing, of how you're feeling. Traditionally, I'll say it, you have this bad fortune house is what it's looked at. Will you have bad fortune there? Maybe, but I don't want to scare you. You're already worrywart anyway. So, it's more about, can you look at things from different angles? Okay. Very simply. Now, take, your mind, or the way your mind calculates, not philosophizes. The way your mind calculates here is what can be tweaked during this mutable madness that's going to happen. That's the simple way I'm going to put it. Aquarius Rising. Speaking of weirdos, they wrote the book on this shit, didn't they? They did. It's like, did I do this? Yeah, yeah, they're weirdos. Yeah. This is happening in your 5th house. So, Aquarius Risings. Let's just get it straight to the point here. Multiple orgasms. That's what's going on right there. The capability for multiple orgasms. Mars and Jupiter in your 5th. I want you to take the quote unquote. Maybe I should put that in quotes. Thanks, Patrick. Good. Patrick's in the house tonight, man. Patrick, I love you, brother. I love you, bud. We got to talk next time I come through town too, man. Maybe we meet up with the other guy, and I'll sing you a song, Almost Paradise from the Footloose soundtrack. So Aquarius Risings, 5th house is the house of pleasures. Mars and Jupiter there, hell yeah. What kink can you come up with next? What kinky thing? What thing that will set you off that differentiates you from the rest of the world? What is this thing? What is this combination of Pluto in your 1st house these days, and then you got Mars and Jupiter vibing, connecting with you on your secret connection between that? Shit, I'm doing this stream in a couple days. We're going to have Mars-Pluto trine right there, set it off. It's already going off. Man, this is good. I really fucking like it for you. Please get out of your head and enter the place of multiple orgasms. Whether it's literally multiple orgasms sexually or creatively is really the deal here. And it's like, can you Move out of the fixed and the connection and the happiness that you receive from Gemini positive energy. And what can you do to influence your first house and how you're seen and how you rise into the world as still a Saturnian cold-ass person? Doesn't mean you don't like to have fun. Will you have some fun, please? Will you just break out of that and just do fifth house things? Do whatever the hell makes you happy. Do whatever it takes multiple times. Really push it to the edge, will you? Will you just stop being stubborn and just have a little bit of fun? And if you do, just wear the color pink, okay? Wear the color pink for me, please. And if you happen to be in Aquarius Rising, you're watching this, I want you to, in the next whatever, if these fun moments happen or whatever, I want you to take a picture on your Instagram or whatever, and I want you to tag me in your story. Like, look at Nicholas, I'm having fun. I'm an Aquarius Rising. I did what I said. Now, don't be sending me any weird-ass fucking pictures, okay, please, because that will get an immediate block. I'm not telling you that. That's not pleasurable for me. It could be for you, but please have a good time, will ya? Through the good time, good things happen. Your creativity is expanded. The ways you can construct things that leads into the most amazing parts of you is being ahead of the game for yourself and picking the air, cerebral, futuristic ideas that are floating in the sky between Gemini and Aquarius. But it requires you to get out, not just of your world, the rising. It requires you to move in places of pleasure. And there sits what you like, the inventiveness, the progressiveness, the new shit that's coming down the line that you see before anybody else does. So we actually need you to do this, not just for yourself, but for us. Aquarius Rising, will you do it for us? Because down the line, some of these things, that crazy little things that happen there, in the long run, help all of us. Please. Now, that's not a lot of pressure, is it? Let's just reiterate this. Just so it's on the video. I wrote this. Aquarius Rising's multiple orgasms. Pisces Rising. You're one of these other weirdos that has to deal with mutable madness. And, we're dealing with fourth house. Things are changing at home. You got this Mars and Jupiter there. Though Jupiter's already doing it. Your Saturn-Jupiter story is already happening between your first and your fourth. So what home means, what's happening at home, what the past is, the unearthing of the past, the memories, the altering of this, the conversations that are happening. This is all part of the transit. Mars there will push this. I think it's very important that I think you should get another bookshelf for your house. I think that you should invite some other people over to your crib if you have them. So, let's invite people over. So you're inviting, and you're inviting. Okay, you're inviting. Let's just put that, you're inviting. Okay, and then, you are not only inviting, but I want you to think about what you stand upon, the roots and foundations that you stand upon, and use your mutableness to look at things from different angles there and to explore things there. I think it's really crucial. I think part of what's going on here is the need to speak your truth, to explore what that is for yourself down in the fourth house part of your thing. I could say things like parents and lineage and all that, and that could be part of it, definitely. But there's some socialization going on here because of Mars and Jupiter there in Gemini. Remember, Gemini's social sign. It's going to move here and there. The only part of it is that things get blasted out. Let's say you're not at home and you're running around all over the place and you're tired and whatever. You need to go home and you need to chill out. It could happen that way. Just little things like that. But let's say you're not. Invite some people over to your crib. Invite the family members if you can so you don't get in a fight. Something like that. Keep it really simple. I think in the end, we want to think about foundations and what the word means to you and what that means in general, and for you to look at it from very different angles and very different vessels that you can bring into that definition of foundations for yourself. I think here too that because all of your angles are getting hit, it's not just your fourth, 1st, 7th. It's all of them. 4th, 5th, 7th, and 10th. Taking a bath is good. You Pisces risings have had it intense for a while because of Saturn being in your world and your first. You know, I whenever as a mutable person, as a mutable person, whenever you go too far, scatteredness in multiple personalities, multiple lives, multiple situations, multiple relationships, multiple whatevers, and you're scattered out and you don't know time and time disappears, Saturn's really going to hand it to you here if you hasn't done it already. So here, again, we want structure and containers. We want things to hold the scatteredness in, and if you can put it in 2 places at least, and be able to look at those places and work with it, not 10, that's great. I'm not doing the best job with this, but I'm done. And Patrick says Zarda's Watch Party, one of my favorite movies ever, is Zarda's. Go watch that movie. Take psychedelics, watch that movie. All right, I'm done. Wow, I didn't plan on that. My experimentations of this, I'm getting used to this. I think, you know, when I go from this, I have to look at the camera so I can go like this, back to this. And then so I can hit this and then go back to this. The next thing that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing it with not my hands. And then I'm trying to control different things. And that's hence this test stream. And it's 2 hours and I'm done. And I've also, if you noticed, I'm adding this telestrator part in, which is going to hopefully work in a different way. And if I do this correctly, actually, I wonder if I could switch on the fly here. If I go, oh, like there, see, I could put it on my face and then do this. But then I would have to go like this. See, so anyway, that's what's being worked on. That's what I did today. That is back to... shit, I lost it already. I lost it. Well, oh, man, I got to figure that out. Why? Oh. I did it there, like that. Okay. Thanks for being on my experimental stream where I will probably use... because I've been losing subscribers every live stream, I'm predicting here, I'm probably going to lose 5 subscribers. If you're new here, please subscribe. Thanks. I have to do something, and I needed to actually do this stream because of this. In the morning, I will show you. ESAR is having their Taste of ESAR in the morning, which is in about less than 12 hours from now. We are doing a webinar weekend. We're starting off with Cameron Allen's on the board. He's going to start off our thing for the day. Then we jump right into our president, Jen Zart, and Daniel Norman are going to have a conversation. Then we have our Italian global director, Nunzio, with Barry Perlman. Nick Campion's going to be there tomorrow talking with Jen about research. The end of the session, the end of the deal, I'm on the last half an hour live with Barry Perlman, one of the directors on ESAR. We're going to close up the first day. Second day starts with Stormy Grace. I'm going to be in that part of her presentation, just in the background, helping with her, talking about progressed moon phases. She's giving a presentation on and on. There's going to be tomorrow on Sunday, Patricia Walsh, Erica Beach. They're going to be taking people's charts and doing them live on air. Patrick Watson is going to do a presentation about AI and astrology. He's also the president of CapESAR. That is what I'm doing. I'm not fully prepared, but I needed to do this stream to test stuff and to clear my mind, because once I'm done here, I am working for the next hour to get up in the morning to do this thing. If you're interested and you're not a member, it's $18. I'm pressing the register here button. It's pretty cheap, actually. And if you're a member of ESAR, if you're a member of this hot-ass mic that I can't figure it out yet, you will see, you're a member of ESAR, this is free. You still got to log in and hit the register page to be part of this. So it's there. Be in chat. They're going to encourage people talking. I think even on Sunday, we're going to try something new. I think they're going to, Vice President Asdrubal Moreno, he's going to be with another person in Spanish-speaking language talking about research in Spanish, but we're going to have a person in the room that is actually going to translate it in English aloud. We're pushing this because we want to do this with the rest of the countries as an organization. So we're just trying to push things and tweak the webinar format. I will also tell you that we are very close. I say we, the people working behind the scenes here, to having our own Mighty Network social platform that will probably be mentioned this weekend. I'm saying it now because I don't really give a care about secrets. It's going to happen. I don't know if it's just for members or if it'll be for the public, but once it is, I will let you know. And we're encouraging everybody who's interested in astrology and the astrology world to come join the social platform, to do whatever, and to help guide it to whatever it is. And you know what, things like that, they turn into something else. I'll probably have to help with a bunch of other people do moderation of all that because humans are humans. But to take a positive look, if you're interested, you know where to go, esarastrology.com. That's where I'm at this weekend. And when I come out of that, I might have more time in my life. Now, saying this, as I get out of here, I want to address a couple things. You support me, you take care of me. Everybody in the chat, I saw Sarah, Yelena, Patrick, everybody who's here all the time or not here all the time, thank you. Whatever. I love you. Please respect my boundaries as a person, as a human being. Okay? Respect it. You have noticed there's a 15-second delay on the chat, so you have to wait. Some of you probably are trying to chat really quick, and you've had to wait 15 seconds. It's my new thing on here. I think 15 seconds is pretty good. I don't want to turn it into a minute. I don't want to get a moderator just yet, okay? There's that. I can only do so much. I'm involved with multiple sessions with clients, my YouTube channel, and other gigs that I have. I can't answer every email instantly. I don't look at all my Instagram messages. I can't. I only look at what I can. It's the most important. So people have to understand this. They don't. You don't. I don't effing know, but that's the world I'm living in, and it's only probably going to get busier. After I get through this weekend, the next couple of weeks, a little bit more scheduling and regimentedness is going to happen for my Patreon members and for me and everything else. So there's a little bit more time before I do a live stream, and then I'll actually get to do regular videos that are recorded for YouTube to put it out there. Okay. Hi, Anne-Marie Rigg. Hi. Thanks for the ESAR vote. You're good. Hey, everybody. If I didn't catch you in here, I think I saw Yelena and Mark Anthony. I said to Jan Halverson, hey, everybody, it's time for me to go. Now I'm at 2 hours. Way too fucking long. Way too long. Way too long. Way too long. Let's go out the way I should have started. By the way, good to see you, Patrick. Hey, April Heller in their chat coming in at the end. What's up? I love this app. I'm all about it. You know, I'm all about it. I just, speed the clouds up a little bit more. Maybe. There we go. Speed them up a little bit. We want to go. We don't want green clouds. We want pink. Thanks, y'all. All right, I'm gonna go do my work, kick some ass this weekend, and pull this webinar thing off with the ESAR crew, and it's gonna lead to good things. And then I'm gonna eat healthy, change my life, sit in the sun, which I've been doing at breaks. I encourage you to do the same. I appreciate the support and your willingness to deal with me and my experimentation. I did figure out some really cool stuff tonight that I know I get to tweak, and then I'll have it just in place for the thing. Patrick, brother, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, man. Actually, I need to get a hold of you because I got some research, some things I'm studying more on the Villafranche way, Morin way things, primary directional type of stuff. Trying to concentrate on that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Thanks, y'all. Yeah, see, I like that. And then I could do this. That's a little bit faster, but we'll go back to this. Splash. Good night, y'all. It is a 29-degree full moon. The old story is not over. The power grabs, the control. 29 Capricorn. The Pluto story is not over. What is happening now, we will see in the fall, when Pluto, 29 Capricorn, for the last